You are reminded that any building marked as sterilized is... off limits prior to demolition. Trespass is a serious offense.
Do as you're told,
This is a
right?
defense announcement. The substation is now off limits to all citizens and enlisted men. Speak to protocol officer.
We've got to do something. Or we'll die here like that.
Those thieving... A stranger, eh?
The village of Wyndham is picturesque. The village of Wyndham is quaint. The village of Wyndham is dangerous. Be cautious.
I'll finish me book today, I think.
One more city gives me cheek and I fucked up
Keep your nose clean.
Volunteers are required for work details on Skethermoor. Work out to help out.
Hello again. Shh! Shut your bloody trap before you bring every nosy bastard in here. All right, look. Just hear me out, eh? See, we're a rotten one, that un. Tattling folk out to the vicar's so he can load it over us. She never had out on me, not till last night when she found that letter. Then she carried on like I'd thrown in me lot were old Hitler or summat. Called me a traitor, like I ever had any loyalty to the protocol lot. I'm no killer, not born to it, but she were poison, that un, and so is Vicar. Summat had to be done. Him? My socks are holier than he is. We give our donations to the church, and in return he keeps the protocols sweet, or so he says. Truth is, he worms his way into people's lives, finds out about matters that won't sit well with soldiers, and holds them over us. Blackmail it is, pure and simple. Oh, aye. Or chuck you in that jail of theirs, which is just as much a death sentence, except slower. All I'm saying is that we messed up, with factories and machines and that. We should have stayed close to the soil. Simple as that. How is that treason? I'm not wicked, you know. I just have a purpose in life, that's all. Something better. But that Maisie, she were going to shout it from rooftops if I didn't pay to keep her and that vicar quiet. She had to go. And I had to do it somewhere Vicar couldn't just sweep it under the rug. He can't go running off to the captain when it looks like he might have blood on his hands. Please, I know what I'm asking, but let it go, will you? Give us that letter back and we can both forget all about it. I'll make it worth your while, I promise. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, eh? Fair enough. Here, you take this as a thank you, I suppose. I'm happy, you're happy, and the village doesn't have to worry about that quizzling Maisie anymore. And look, if you want to know more about her, the purpose, well, there's someone I'd love you to meet. Mother Jago. Lives out by the old mine in Casterfell Woods. I'll mark the spot for you. Reckon you'll find what she has to say very interesting indeed.
Citizens of Wyndham, there has been an increase in outlaw activity on Slatton.
A bit of democracy wouldn't go amiss. Thought that was what we fought the war for.
Report anything suspicious you find, and we can see about perhaps coming to terms, you and I. Yes, what is it? There's been a what? Sergeant, take a squad to the church at once. And the culprit? Surely not the vicar. I see. What I do know is we can't be seen to respond lightly to such an incident. Perhaps this is a time to be safe rather than sorry. I'll have the vicar taken in for questioning. Now do you see why this place is under military discipline? I fought rebels in the Malayan jungle, and let me tell you, that was positively genteel in comparison to this wretched village. You can hardly call them English hereabouts anymore. Something in the land here is corrupting them all. You've done the right thing coming to me. It's vital this sort of thing's nipped in the bud before it spreads. Straight to the point. Very good. I'm willing to extend the hand of friendship to you, which would include giving you access to our camp at Skethermoor. With us on the same side, if a chance for leaving this zone comes, I can promise you a good chance of seeing the outside. To be blunt, as a stranger, you're in a perfect position to help me with a delicate matter. We recently arrested a certain Dr. Garrow, one of the scientists from the research site. She contrived to escape the zone before the walls went up, but rather unexpectedly returned as part of a military convoy. More fool her. Dr. Garrow is dangerous, very clever, and egotistical enough to believe herself a magnitude cleverer yet. She's refused to tell us anything, and I refuse to stoop to Gestapo methods to force her. But a new face like yours, well, perhaps she'll talk to a stranger who plainly isn't beholden to the protocol. We're holding her in our prison. When Garrow arrived, she demonstrated an ability to meddle with the barred machinery we've commandeered. Specifically, she disabled our camp's automatic security system and began to poke around where she wasn't welcome. It was an hour before we found her, trying to get access to one of the old barred bunkers. Who knows what damage she might have caused had she found a way inside. She left us no choice but to take her into custody, isolated in solitary confinement, where she can't play her tricks. My men claim she muttered some incantation, and that caused the gun turrets to shut off. I don't believe in such nonsense as magic, but when she was captured, all they found on her was a broken radio. And now I don't know what to think. So you see, I need to know how she did it. What trick she uses to disable our machines. Yes, though I would advise you against doing anything unsanctioned. My men will kill you in an instant if you attempt any silly shenanigans. Here, this pass will give you free passage throughout the Skethermoor camp. The soldiers on guard will allow you into the prison section, too, all the way to Garrow's cell. Learn what you can and return here. Be sure to report to me in person. But be warned, one hint of betrayal, and that pass will not save you. I hope I make myself clear. Good day to you. Stay out of trouble, eh?
One more civvy gives me cheek and I'll top the back. Watch your step.
The citizens of Wyndham, if you or any of your friends or family show signs of corruption, report it immediately. Report early. The contagion can be
Pressing target. Clear the area, or you will be considered a threat.
Administration wing offline. Secure laboratory offline. Robotics upper level, power at 50%. Unlocks released. Access granted to Robotics lower level. Robotics lower level remains off limits to all staff. Failure to comply could result in physical injury or death. Automated security systems are active in this area under authority of Garrow, Diane.
Target spotted. Potential threat detected.
have no strength.
What was that then?
Nice and slow now. Let's have no trouble. Not there. Don't do it. You'll get it.
Target lost. Recalibrating. Target lost. Recalibrating.
You bugger.
Target spotted.
Damn. What's this?
Target lost. Recalibrating.
That it? Have they buggered off?
Don't.
Shit!
data. Activating suspicious. Battery disconnected. Shut you down.
Nice and slow now. Let's have no trouble. Swear I heard something. Better stay on guard. No more surprises. You bugger!
Nice and slow.
Won't be pretty when I bloody right pal you.
gonna rough you up. Help me! Bastard!
Off with you, or you'll regret it.
Don't go asking for trouble or you'll get it.
Nice and slow now. Let's
Who's
have
there?
roast the bull.
Come on then.
Aye, let's get the bastards. You what? You bugger. Who's out there?
Don't do
Coming
anything
out.
stupid.
I'm sure it came from over here.
Not safe yet.
He wants trouble.
Don't you go asking for trouble or you'll get it. Have they gone?
Let's have no trouble.
Steady now. Is someone messing with me?
Bloody right. They're not even from around it!
Bloody hell. I'll paint my boot.
What the? Oh, you bastard!
What? Gotta turn the tables. Need to reload.
Watch out, Mom.
Who's sneaking around?
Buddy here. This one. Bollocks!
Right, you. They're killing us.
Bloody right.
I'll go see what. Christ! A deader! Shit! Oh, hurt bad.
Hello again. Very good. Really? Common as muck, those. Whoa, now that's nice. Nice trading with you. Oh, I feel some uncontrollable gossiping coming on. Pin back your luggles. You seen the wrecked convoy nearby? Oh, that were a sight when it happened. Big bang, down came the bridge. All the lorries and that came tumbling down like Jack and Jill. Aye, I saw someone come away. They were a ways off, but I suppose it must have been one of the soldiers. They went towards the rail yard. Didn't see anyone else get away though. Poor sods. Outlaws reckon it were them from the woods. The druids, we call them. I didn't reckon they'd know their way round dynamite. Bridge was proper blown up. The druids were all over the place like flies after though. So maybe it's true. Just not heard of them taking on something so big before, that's all. Oh, the crazy folk in masks. They live in Casterfell Woods. If you've not met one yet, count yourself lucky. You need anything, Molly'll be here.
Attention! Wyndham Village is under the order. Attention! The site of the recent patrol
Don't be causing trouble, all right?
This is the transaction.
not sure about you.
Citizens of Wyndham, a contaminated area has been reported in the Skethermoor field. Wyndham, and the quarantine protocol is no longer responsible for your safety. If you approach any
Do as you're told, right?
One more civvy. Hands away from any weapons, you.
is a defense announcement. A good soldier conserves his ammunition. A wild shot is a wasted round. Remember, every bullet counts.
connected. Shut down.
Who's there? Well, gosh. This is a surprise. When I saw movement, I thought it might be one of those awful feral goblins some people seem to have turned into. You don't look like a goblin, though. Or an outlaw. So, just exactly who are you? Well, I can't argue with that. We find ourselves in very strange times. You haven't immediately tried to kill me, at least. That's a pleasant change. Sometimes I think I'm the only sane one left in the zone. I'm Joyce, by the way. Joyce Tanner. How'd you do? Well, we can put questions of identity aside, I think, seeing as I should be thanking you. I gather that you're the one who's responsible for restoring the power supply here. I've been trying to get in here for simply ages. I've just about given up hope. My, but you're full of satiable curiosity, aren't you? Well, I've nothing to hide. There was an expeditionary convoy sent in a few months ago, and Muggins here was seconded to it. I'm a communications specialist. Girl Boffin, the squaddies call me. They needed us ladies to hold up the science end of things. I was drafted in, along with a Dr. Garrow. They say she was a big name here, before the disaster. Anyway, the expedition did not go swimmingly, let me tell you. We barely made it into Slattendale when the bridge was blown out from under us, and the convoy wrecked. Before we knew what was happening, we were beset by a horde of whooping maniacs in masks. It was awful. Sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? Now, I don't know if they were responsible for the bridge, but the vicious buggers were on us soon after. I think I may well be the sole survivor of the convoy. But things are certainly looking up now we're in here. Isn't it a remarkable sight? The interchange in all its glory. I was beginning to think I'd never see the inside of it. Think of all the secrets that might be hidden here. Well, the interchange itself seems to be wired together like some sort of big computer. These data stores all connect to the central data processor. Though with the power cut, it looks like it's gone into a sort of a dormant state. No doubt that was part of the drill to get this place mothballed when the disaster happened. Whatever it was. As for the research they were doing here, well, I don't know. You could poke around and find out, I suppose. The important thing is that we're in here, and I cannot overstate my delight that you managed it. Now, finally, there's a chance I can get into the communication systems proper. And listen, we don't need to trust each other just yet, but maybe we can work together. It's a bit of a two-person job, this. Look, if I can get a message through the interference field, I should be able to sort out an exit for us. I'd need a whole array of transmitters to punch through the interference, though. There are a few radio towers across the area that should do the trick. I've restored power to them, but I seem to be locked out of their controls. The operators must have isolated the towers from the network when the quarantine was declared. But look, if you could find each tower and release the security lock, I can fiddle around this end and try to use the array to blast out a signal. Here, I'll give you map coordinates for each tower. Good luck. Do your best. And try not to get eaten by any goblins.
The wait is interminable. I've run out of work to occupy myself, and it's still not our turn to evacuate. We all felt the shudder of the explosion at the plant, but since then, nothing. Perkins is wandering around, muttering that they've forgotten us. He's an awful fretter at the first sign of trouble, but I'm beginning to wonder if he might perhaps be on the button this time.
you doing? Trying to help you, Dr. Fisher. Now stay still.
No! 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 Get that away from me, Alan! It's not... Ah! It's not tested.
It'll save your bloody life. The infection's tearing you apart, trust me.
Get away! Keep your experiments to yourself.
Fisher!
Fisher's log, 28th of September, 57. I knew Dr. Holder was up to something. It's no secret he's been frustrated with the direction of our research, but this takes the biscuit. Last night, Edward let slip about a secret lab Holder has set up in Wyndham Village, under the church, apparently. Of all places. For a month, he's been stealing samples, smuggling out lab equipment, and all with God as his witness. Worst of all, Edward knew because he was planning to join him. Holder's got himself a little rogue scientist brigade. I managed to convince Edward to give me a key to the place. Once this fever is down, I'll march over and confront Holder myself.
Probably nothing, but...
You're not welcome here.
Come on!
What's it? I heard something. I'm sure.
Wait, what made that noise?
If you need to approach the woods for foraging, request an escort at the village hall.
Welcome back, friend. It's good to see you. I heard the soldiers marched the vicar off to their prison. Did you have something to do with that? If you did, thank you. That man were poison. Wyndham will be better off without him.
Citizens of Wyndham, any attempt to interfere with the proper functioning of vertical patrol robots will be viewed as an act of sedition.
Slowly now. Come into the light where I can see you. Wait. You're not one of the scientific staff. Who the blazes are you? I know every face on the project, and you're not one of them. How did you know I was down here? You found it in... You mean to say you were inside the interchange? Just how did you get in there? They sealed the place tight. You found one. Just found a keycard. I believe you. It's so ludicrous that I searched to no avail. Will you just find one? Too ludicrous to be untrue. The interchange. Open again after all this time. Astonishing. I thought it was sealed for good, and its contents forever out of reach. But look, do you realize what this means? If you have access to the interchange, then we might be able to stop this nightmare before it spreads beyond the wall. "5 years. And now so little time left. I'm sorry. You're perfectly right, of course. You have not a reason in the world to trust me at such short acquaintance. Yet the fact remains, you must. So much depends upon it. We first discovered the growth at the Oberon site. I was one of the team assigned to study it. You know, first we thought it was benign, beneficial even, according to the early results. That's the proverbial long story, and we don't have time for it at present. I promise you, you'll have your answers, but first, you must understand what we're dealing with. In our experiments, Small doses of the growth in a purified form showed the most astonishing effect on cognitive capability. But it was not purified nearly enough, as it transpired. Its active agent was much more active than we realized. What it was doing to both our bodies and our minds all the while, it beggars imagination. We thought we held the future in a test tube. But all we had isolated was evil in its purest form. You can see why I must keep myself hidden away down here. Yes, it's under control, but I'll never be entirely free of it. Thanks to this apparatus, I found a way to inoculate myself, halting the infection before it could fully establish itself. If my colleagues had shown more faith in my line of experimentations, well, we wouldn't be where and what we are now. But look, we have so little time. I desperately need your help. I need you to go back to the medical facility, and this time go deeper. All the way down to the quarantine level. Somewhere in there is a sealed cylinder. It's labeled Sample 1. Find it and bring it here to me. Do that, and I can promise answers. Answers and a way out of here. Here's my keycard. It will get you deeper into the medical section. It was the first sample of the growth that was extracted. We took it to the lab to test it. That was a few months before the disaster. It's a pure sample, and that's what makes it so important. Before you go, you should help yourself to a dose of my inoculant. There's one lying around here somewhere. If you ever encounter a thick area of growth, or are suffering from a potent strain of the infection, that stuff will ease the burden. It should give you a better chance of surviving infested areas. And with any luck, it will silence the voices in your head. Best of luck.
Do as you're told, right?
The substation is now off limits to all citizens and enlisted men. Speak to a protocol officer if you require access for a legitimate reason.
One more civvy gives me cheek and I'll top the orders be blown.
Hello? Anyone receiving this? What the blue blazes happened just now? Who declared quarantine?
Dr. Holder.
Dr. Garrow? Is that you? Where are you?
Alan, listen to me.
Diane, where are you? Is this your doing? We're locked in.
There was an explosion. We had to...
Had to what? Where are you, Diane?
I'm on the evacuation convoy. I'm sorry, Alan. There was no time. evacuation convoy. I'm sorry, Alan. There was no time.
No time? We're still in the fail-safe period, Diane. Raise the quarantine level before it's too late.
I can't do that. Oberon must remain secure.
Diane, there's dozens of us still in the lab. Please suspend the quarantine, just for a few minutes.
I can't. I have to think of the many.
Are you quite insane? Wait. Wait. I know why you're doing this.
I'm sorry. I must go, Alan. The interference is too strong already.
Diane, don't you dare open the bloody doors, damn you. Diane! You can't trap us in here to die. I swear, if you don't...
access for a legitimate reason.
Wish we could still get the light program.
Time is of the essence. With any luck, Sample 1 will still be hidden away in the medical facility. You found the sample? But this is wonderful. For the first time in years, there's hope. A true, viable hope. Those used to be some of the finest minds in the country. Country be damned in the world. My colleagues, trapped there when the laboratory was sealed. Now I need to get to work on this sample. This alien muck has vulnerabilities, but taking advantage of them is difficult. But I can see you're curious and you've earned some answers, should you want them. Is there anything that you want to know? It's an official secret, for all the weight that carries now. Oberon is the code name for the meteorite they found buried here. It was uncovered just after the war, during the evacuation of new slate mine workings. That discovery was the reason they built this whole circus here. I dearly wish it had remained undisturbed. The rock itself contained remarkable minerals, instrumental in the creation of the atomic batteries, and all the other marvels you've no doubt already encountered. But they drilled too deep into Oberon. And, at its core, discovered organic matter. That was Sample 1. A team of biologists, myself included, were assigned to analyze it. But the Oberon investigative team drilled too deep. There was some sort of violent and highly energetic feedback that collapsed part of the plant and triggered the quarantine. That was in 1957. It is abominable. Plainly extraterrestrial, voracious and implacable. At first, the top brass was excited by the potential it showed. In small doses, it seemed to accelerate our ability to learn to a remarkable degree. Your mind expanded. As if you had a connection to lost knowledge that you had somehow forgotten and were simply rediscovering it. But then, some of us started to change. We barely had time to start coming to terms with it. The explosion at the Oberon site came just days later. The quarantine was declared, and they trapped us in the lab. They left us for dead. Our own colleagues. You mean, why am I still trapped in the medical section? We didn't know it at the time, but there was a breach towards the back of the lab. Thanks to my experimental inoculation, I was able to resist the infection, to keep my own personality and intellect intact. I escaped through the tunnels under the lab. The only place I could think of to hide was there. When it seemed there was more to this growth than the BARD top brass wanted to admit, some of my colleagues and I decided to set up a very unofficial lab. This is it. It was hard work carting all this gear undetected, but we managed it. The vicar agreed to let us use the crypt for storage years ago, before the disaster. We made a small donation. To the church, you understand. And he didn't ask any questions after that. Now, I need to get to work on turning this sample active but toxic. A biological time bomb, if you will. You really want to get out of here, don't you? I can't say I blame you. In the meantime, there's something else you may be able to help me with. In return, I can assure you a route out of here. That's the deal. Sometimes, at night, I go up to the church tower and listen to the sentries chatting down below. I've heard some chatter that suggests my old colleague Dr. Garrow came back into the zone. The soldiers locked her up in their prison on Skethermoor. Seems she's upset their captain. She's neither use nor ornament trapped there. Can you get her out? I very much need to see her. It's vitally important. She and I worked on the Oberon project. Garrow's a cyberneticist. That's the science of control, if you're unfamiliar with the term. She was over on the technological end of things, leading the development of the robots. A very brilliant woman, and obsessively devoted to her work above all else. When the quarantine was declared, well, she got out, and we didn't. I never thought I'd have the chance to see her again. But it seems she couldn't leave well enough alone and just had to come back. It's vital I see her about something before we can leave. Hurry! Find her if you can. It's very important.
Attention. The site of the recent patrol robot malfunction is off limits to all citizens. Remember, radiation is the invisible killer.
We started off right by shooting some troublemakers.
Hell, eyes open.
When will we go back to the reactor site, eh? That's what I want to know. Can't fix anything from over here.
A good soldier could...
Maybe Smith is right. We'd build a huge still, drink ourselves to death. At least I'd die happy.
Disciplinary meetings must be recorded either on an A27 form before the event or an A27B after the event.
Keep the peace, Civvy.
There'll be trouble. Do as you're told, right?
The new work schedule for the coming week has been posted and comes into operation from tomorrow.
Watch your step. civvy gives me cheek and I'll...
Prisoners are reminded that the guards are permitted to use lethal force
You
against
there.
escapees.
Come, who are you then? You don't look like any sort of guard. Oh, you know. Well, that is disappointing. Here I was, thinking my rescuer had appeared, but you're just another lackey for the captain. Unless, wonder of wonders, you're more intelligent than you look. Shrewd enough to see that one of Bard's top people mustn't be left to rot down here. Look, you have to get me out of this cell. I might be the only person who can resolve this whole dreadful mess. Ye gods! That man! He doesn't give up, does he? Look, I don't care what information you take back to him. The man's a narrow-minded fool. He'll never understand this place. I, on the other hand, well, not to boast, but I built it. I'm a far more useful ally to have in this neck of the woods than the captain can ever aspire to. Look, just agree to get me out of this wretched cell, and I'll give you whatever you want. Very well. I had a particular device with me, a signal redirector. The device allows me to remotely alter the polarity of power signals, especially useful for bypassing old security systems. Those buffoons. A very charitable term considering they've accused me of muttering incantations like a fairy tale witch. Those buffoons who confiscated the device thought it was a broken radio. The signal redirector itself is probably being kept in their security office nearby, so have a hunt around. Once you have it, there's an old control room near here that the soldiers have been unable to unlock. Use the device to redirect power to that control room, and you will be able to get inside. From there, you should be able to open the cell doors.
Behave yourself, civvy.
Disciplinary offense. guards are reminded. Disciplinary meetings must be reported either on an A27 form before the event or an A27B after. Alert! Prisoner containment failure in progress. All guards report to the armory. Let me go!
Well now, it all starts to make sense. My liberator approaches. Many thanks to you. My apologies for running off like that, but discretion seemed very much the better part of valor at the time. Me? Well, so many hats, but I suppose I'm primarily known for my work in applied autonomous cybernetics. Which is to say robots. I was head of the department here. Things have certainly changed since I left the site. I never intended to return to so much fuss, and, least of all, a jail cell. They decided to send in another expeditionary convoy. Given my involvement, it wasn't difficult to get a spot. I came in by support helicopter rather than in the lorries, all very exciting. The helicopter came down, however, which was rather more excitement than anticipated. Hardly the ideal way to discover that the measures we'd taken to counteract the interference field didn't work. I must say, I wasn't expecting garlands and adoring crowds to mark my return, but being thrown into jail was a little much. Lucky for me that you popped by. And you have found your way into the interchange too. I am impressed. When quarantine was enacted after the disaster, I wondered if I'd ever see the inside of this facility again. This is a fruit of the last war and the cold one that followed it. The beating heart of research into Oberon and the advantages it might provide to Britain. Slate caverns originally, but given over to science quickly enough when the government realized the significance of what we discovered here. Oberon is at the root of all our troubles here. It's also unwise to ask about it. You've seen a great number of things that are none of your concern already. Really, I should be asking you just how on earth you got inside a secured facility. But since you helped me out of my little bit of trouble, what with the soldiers and the imprisonment and so forth, I shall do you the courtesy of pretending that you are perfectly within your rights to go gallivanting around secret government facilities. In all honesty, I really don't care where you came from. All I care about now is taking care of some business and then getting out of here. I'm sure you do. You don't belong here, do you? Much like myself. Well, perhaps we can help each other. There is something you might be able to assist me with. Very well. A little quid pro quo is in order. Help me, and I shall help you. My research notes are still here in my office, and it is vital I recover them. My office is in the lower level of the Robotics section. You'll likely need the signal redirector to bypass the electronic security to get down there. And for heaven's sake, don't touch anything you don't need to. Can you manage that? Well, to be blunt, because it's very likely dangerous. The automatic security measures may still be active. But I think you've proven that such things aren't a challenge for someone as resourceful as yourself. I mean, easy as pie for you, I'm sure. Astonishing that Miss Tanner should escape the convoy ambush with nary a scratch. An unusually resourceful young woman, clearly. She's taken an undue interest in some of our more secure systems. One might reasonably wonder why. I intend to keep my distance from her. I suggest you do the same. Don't forget about our little agreement. Recover my notes from Robotics, and I'll see about getting us out of here. Oh, good show! Oh, it is such a relief to have these notes back in my possession. Security concerns, you see. Can't have any old Tom, Dick, or Ivan taking these for light reading. I thought I'd warned you about reading classified material. Try to understand. We were pushing back the very boundaries of known science. Britain depends on progress like ours. If she's to compete with the rest of the world, we couldn't afford any delays. Every decision that was made was for the good of the project. Now listen, I have an offer for you. While you were off fetching my notes, I've been trying to extract what data I can from here. Information was buried, almost as well as the site itself when the quarantine was called. Now, I have unearthed some of what I need, but it has become clear that the most sensitive research is elsewhere. Many of those records were kept at an external data store at the Casterfell Dam. Given your success so far, perhaps you are willing to make the trip. There's a positive cornucopia of information there. More than enough to satisfy even your curiosity. Well, what do you say? Listen carefully. Much of our data was stored at the depot site. It should still be accessible if you can get the memory cores operating once more. All the answers your heart desires are there, I assure you. 2 important points, however. Once you're done, you must run a particular command or all your efforts will be wasted. Gen-era. G-E-N-E-R-A. Note it exactly. Secondly, you must not take anything out of that bunker. I cannot overstate that this is all highly classified. Now, here's the keycard. The bunker is out in Casterfell Woods by the dam. I'll mark it on your map.
know I heard something.
Information about this crime? If so, report it immediately to the protocol officer. Remember, colluding with criminals is a serious offense.
I wondered if you'd have the gall to show your face again. I've just had a runner tell me of some commotion at the prison. Dr. Garrow has escaped. Our radio is currently out of commission, so I don't have the full gen yet. But perhaps you can enlighten me. It's quite the coincidence that I provide you with the pass, and the next thing I know, the prison is in uproar, with Garrow on the wing. Explain yourself. Are you in league with Garrow? Was our agreement just an opportunity for you to free her? Is that it? But you must see how damning the timing of all this is. Coincidences happen, but I'm inclined to distrust one this unlikely. And to think I was the bloody fool who let you in there. Really? Do you still claim that you had nothing to do with it? No. I admit that would have been a bold decision. Bold, verging on suicidal. Very well. I suppose the balance of probabilities is that you're telling the truth. I only hope you at least managed to get something useful out of her before she fled. What did you learn? How did Garrow manage to disable our security? You mean that radio she had with her was nothing of the sort? Good heavens. The blithering idiots who searched her said it was harmless. Blast them. That's good work on your part. Well done. The more we can understand the barred gadgetry littering this place, the better our chances of escaping. Here, take this for your excellent service. And I presume you have Garrow's device. Hang on to it for the moment. I'm willing to trust you with it. Do not let me down. It may perform wonders, but it won't stop a bullet. You seem very capable, and that more than anything else makes me inclined to place some faith in you to continue doing the right thing. The fates of my force and yours are bound together. You realize that. Help us, and we will help you. Remember that. And in any case, something more pressing has occurred in your absence. It seems some of the villagers are unhappy with our recent enforcements of martial law and have allied themselves with the savages in the woods. The swine broke in here and stole several items. Most importantly, part of our radio set. Reparations for injustice, they called it. I have no doubt that they intend to make a gift of them to those so-called druids as some sort of offering. That shower of feeble-witted maniacs thinks that anything scientific must be returned to the soil, as if radios are some form of root vegetable, apparently. But what they took is critical and highly sensitive. Because it's the only high-powered set we have. We'll need it if we ever hope to escape this wretched place. It's true, the blasted interference field has so far prevented communication with the outside. But with any luck, that won't stay true forever. Listen, I have an escape plan. You've helped me, and I'm willing to reciprocate it by bringing you along when we leave. But it's all for nothing if we don't have the radio to send a signal requesting extraction. once the interference field is cleared. If these druids have our radio equipment, I can make a good educated guess as to where they'll have salted it away. I'll mark the spot on your map for you. I cannot emphasize how vital repairing our radio is. Anything else you find there? Well, that can remain buried as far as I'm concerned. Excellent. Good luck. Good day to you. Stay out of trouble, eh?